Hi everyone, in this video we are going to learn what is ini file and how to read this file in Python using ConfigParser module. In Python, applications often rely on configuration file to store settings or preferences that the software can read and use during runtime. These settings might include database credential, file path, or user specific options, and they help make applications flexible without requiring code changes. The Configure Parser module is specifically designed to work with such configuration files commonly in the ini format. Here I have opened PyCharm editor where I've created a new demo project to understand config parser module in Python. As you can see, we have activated the virtual environment for this new project and we are using Python 3.13 version for this project. I have also created a one ini file to understand these concepts. So this type of configurations are required in our applications. If you look at on individual sections, we have these options. These options we will read with help of config parser module. First, let's see how to create such files programmatically in Python. I'm going to import config parser. This is built-in module in Python. We don't need to install any other outside package in our project. I'm going to create the object config parser dot. We are going to create our sections and options here. Say general, and then we will create our options like app name, and then we'll say my application. Okay. If you want to create another option, you can say version and then its value. Alright, let's create another empty section. We'll say user settings dot layout empty dictionary. In the same way we will do other settings. Okay, now you can see we have three sections: one general, second user settings for layout, and then user settings dot font. Okay, we will use open function and we will pass test dot ini as a name and mode will be write as config file, that is our object name, and then we will say config dot write function we'll use and we will pass this config file object. Okay, so if you run the program, you will be able to see a new file inside your project. You can see the test.ini file is being created, and this file is pretty same with this file, right? The only difference here is we have different value in version and app name. You see? Okay, so we are able to create a ini file with the help of Python programs easily. Now that we have created and saved a configuration file, let's read it back and explore the data it holds. Okay, I'm gonna remove this code and I will use a one function on config object, and that is read, and will specify a file name here, right? App settings.ini file. Okay, and if you want to get the sections from this file, you can easily get, right? Config.section function is there, which will return you all sections names, right? We print now sections, you will see all section name from this file. You see, this is a list object and it contains all the sections listed in this file: general, user settings.layout, and user settings.font. There are more ways to read options and sections from this file. I want to check whether general section in this file or not. It will show me yes, it is there. Okay, it is there. If I say general 1, so it will say it is not there. Okay, you see. In the same way, I can get options like general dot layout in config, right? Run this, it will say it is false. Okay, if I say user settings dot layout, then it will say it is present. You see, it is present. If you want to get the value from an option of any sections, that is possible. So first I am going to create an object for general section, right? Config general. So general sections options would be here in this object, right? I'm going to read, let's say app name, general, app name, you will get your app name, right? And the program, you will see that is my application, right? You see, okay? Or you can get the application name like config, and then we say general, and then application name. This is the same thing, okay? You see, either this way or this way. We may require to get all the keys from any specific section. That is also possible. We will say for key in config, and then we will say user settings dot layout, and then we will print the key, so it will show us all keys. You see, okay? Now let's understand multiple configurations into a single config parser. Okay, let me remove this code, a duplicate section name over here. We have one more section with the same section name, right? General, and here we will say application name 1. Okay, like that. As soon as I run this program, it will show the exception, right? Duplicate sections error. Okay, if you want to handle this exception, you have to use try and except block. Try, except, and we are going to say config parser dot duplicate sections error. Okay, this is a specific exception to check whether sections are duplicate or not. We will say duplicate sections. You see, duplicate sections found. As soon as you remove your duplicate section and save the file, then it will not show any error or any exception or no message. Okay, or let me read some value, right? I'm going to read one option application name, and then it will print, right? You see, my application is printed. You may have duplicate options as well, right? For example, in the same user settings dot layout, you have a theme option again. Okay, you save the file. If you run the program, again your program will be broken. You see, theme already exists. So in order to handle this type of exception, we have to handle this with duplicate options error, right? Run the program, so exception will no longer be available. You see, duplicate options, this message is now displayed. Now let's see supported data types with config parser. For example, you have a value like font size. This value you want to convert in integer. So how it can be done? You have to just use int class constructor. Okay, I'm going to say user settings dot font, right? Font dot font size, right? You're in the program. Okay, this is already exist. User layout dot font. We made a mistake here. There are duplicate options over here, right? If you run the program again, you will able to see font size. You see 12. If you get the type of this value, it will always show you the string, right? Because this ini file always use a string format, right? You see str type. Let's say if you want to convert this value into int, you can do that, right? So you will get the same value. Okay, but this time this value type would be int. Okay, or maybe to understand it better, I have a simple code snippet, and then type we have printed, that would be string, and then we have converted this string into int, then we got the type of this font size int. You will see that is a int type now. In the same way, if you want to convert config value into float, that is also possible. and then you can convert it into float. You will get the same value, but it would be this time type of float, okay, in the print statement. Since this task is so common, ConfigParser provides a range of handy getter methods to handle integers, floats, and boolean. Right? If you want to get the value from any file into boolean format, you can do that, right? You see, I have a general section and then I have a debug option, right? That value I have just passed into the bool class, right? It will return me true or false. If you run this program, you will see that is true. But what if you pass here false? So what do you think? What this statement is now going to return, right? It will still returns you the true because this bool class function does not compatible with this config parser object. So in order to handle this type of things, we have few methods. The method get boolean. I'm going to use get boolean function. You will get a correct value, right? You will get false. Because this method is case sensitive and recognize boolean value from yes or no, on, off, true, false, or 1 or 0, right? So this type of values can be handled with this help of get boolean function. Alright, now let's see what is fallback values. I have a simple code snippet handy to save some time. You see, we have first got a value from this option app name, so app name will be displayed, and then we try to find out the value of log1 option, right? That would not be present here. Log1 is nowhere else. So what would happen? We are providing a fallback value for this option which is not exist in our ini file. Okay, so it will return you this value.
That brings us to the end of the today's video. We hope you found it informative and engaging. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting content on all things tech related. Thanks for watching and we will see you in the next video.